Be making basics.
What's good, YouTube? Beat Making Basics back again with another dope video. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and do me a favor and subscribe, as well as give me a thumbs up if you like today's content. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Basically, what we're going to be covering today is some sampling hacks in Logic Pro 10. This video is going to be for users who are using at least Logic Pro 10.5 or above. So let's go ahead and talk about it. First things first, I want to show you something called the quick sampler, okay? We've covered this before in certain videos, but I'm going to be breaking it down kind of thoroughly here, especially for those who are new, all right? So the quick sampler is something, as you saw when I created this track, you could just go into your instrument and select quick sampler right in here. You could also select quick sampler through your inspector window. This is your inspector window right here, and you can select it right here. You just come over here and boom, quick sampler. This is what it looks like, okay? And one of the great things that I love about the quick sampler is that you can literally drag and drop samples or audio from anywhere on your computer, even within Logic Pro 10. So I can come over here to loops and I can drag and drop stuff in here from there. I can come over here from even the workspace window and take one of these sections of music and drag it right in here. I can go anywhere on my computer, drag it in over there as well. If you look at the quick sampler, it has different little options or folders that you can, edit music in. I can come over here and record audio in here. So that means that I can come in and select the input and record audio in. So like either vocals, a bass guitar, anything like that. I can record stuff there with this option. I can slice and basically chop your samples up here. One shot basically is when you push any note on the keyboard, the sample's gonna play all the way through. And in classic mode, which is my favorite mode, is where you can pretty much chop it and stretch and do things like that on your own. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Also, you have these different elements right here that will help modify the sample. LFOs, pitching, filters, amps. So there's a lot of stuff you could do just right here within the quick sampler. So our last video, we were working on a melody, right? Let's say if we wanted to take that melody and take it to the next level or chop it up, make it something to where nobody can pretty much recognize it. I'm just going to turn it down just a little bit so you can kind of hear what we were working on. And then I'm going to basically take some of these elements and chop them up, sample them, make them a little bit different, more original, more, I'm not going to say more original, but, just chop them up and sample them. So let's listen to what we created in our last video and we're going to go from there. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do here, just to make this a little bit simpler, is we're going to just kind of arrange this sample, if you will. All right. What I'm going to do is just click on each one of these little sections, and I'm going to push Control M to mute it within the workspace window. And just as you saw me doing, like kind of playing around with the mute to get different sections, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. So check this out. I'm going to go ahead and push up. Well, actually what we're going to do is I'm going to highlight everything, and then I'm just going to go ahead and right click on one of the pieces of MIDI, and I'm going to push bounce in place. And what this is going to do is create an audio file of my sample or our melody that we just created. Okay. So I'm just going to call this this beat name or sample is called Oz. So we'll say Oz sample. Okay. So as you see, it's just breaking everything down, bouncing it down. It's going to bounce all of the regions together as one. And it's going to create basically one audio file that we can manipulate here. All right, so it mutes out everything here, as you can see, and now we have this audio sample. All right, bet. So what we're going to do now is just drag this right into the quick sampler. Now you can drag it, a couple of different ways. I created a new track and had basically pulled up the quick sampler on this new track that I created, but you don't have to do it that way. I could actually take it and drag it to this gray area and then pull up quick sampler that way. But since we already have a track created, we're just going to drag it right over here. Boom. Now, as you can see, you have this whole audio sample right here within Logic Pro 10's quick sampler. And I'm just gonna show you these different options again. We have the slice right here, which has different chops. So like if I was to go on my MIDI keyboard and start playing certain notes, you're gonna hear it basically already chopped up. A cool thing here is you can push down the sensitivity, meaning making these chops larger or smaller. So we can just do like this, and now all of a sudden you have like automatic chops that are larger or smaller. See, this is something that's going to help you to make some hard beats if you really think about it. Like I could have put a trap beat on it on top of that, and then it will go. But I don't necessarily like chopping this up, so we're not going to be pretty much going over how to slice everything. You can actually you can move these around too. So like if you don't like where it's chopped up, you can move it around and different things like that. You can create different chops just by clicking right here within it. See how I did that? So it's a lot of cool stuff you could do with the sampler. You can actually add like gates. You can, affect if it plays to the end from wherever you play. You know what I mean? So like say if I play this note right here, it's going to play from here all the way to the end. If I select this option, it'll put a gate on it. If I select this option, you have different things right here where based on your keyboard, you'll either be chromatic, which is going to be all your notes on your piano, so your white notes and your black notes, or you can select it to just be on white notes or black notes. A lot of dope things you could do on here. You have it where you can break this down based on transients, which is going to be the high peaks and the low peaks of your sample, or beat divisions, which is going to be based on time measurements within that sample. So you got equal measurements. So there's a lot of cool things you could do just with splicing this up, and you can do manual mode. All right, also just one shot mode. Okay. Again, if I push any note on the keyboard, it's gonna play this sample all the way through. Since this is a long sample, I'm not gonna do that. So I really like using classic mode because I can do a lot. I can take this and push it right where I want it and everything like that. Push this back like that. Right here, basically, if this is selected, this will loop this part of the sample. So it'll play it through and loop this part wherever you are. So I actually don't like having the loop on. So what I'll do is just turn it off. And then I can push forward or reverse. That's simple. I don't have to take it and do a whole bunch of extra stuff to reverse the sample. I can reverse it right here. Pretty dope. And then also I can turn this guy on right here, which is going to lock this sample's timing to the BPM of whatever your session is. Okay. And so no matter what note I play, it's going to, and no matter what octave I play, it's going to play it in time. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're in classic mode. And so just an option of what we could do is, let's just see what it will sound like reversed. Let's turn it up a little higher. It might help out if I put this musical typing on, just so you can kind of see what I'm doing with my MIDI keyboard. I'm just gonna put this guy right over here, move this over here for you. And the cool thing about this is if I hold down Option, I can scroll left to right on my mouse and I can zoom in, you know. And that helps out too when it comes to like chopping up this sample or doing certain things. So like I could take this and nudge this on over like so, and it's gonna go to the very end of this without having that little dead space. You just do a lot of dope stuff. I mean, let's just go ahead and mute this part out and we can just lay that part down. We'll go ahead and do this, put this metronome on. It was a little off. All we need to do is just quantize it. That's the cool thing too with this sampler is once you actually have the audio within here and then play it within the workspace window, it's gonna just act as a MIDI note, okay, even though it's audio. So we can just double click it like this, highlight it by pushing Command A, and then we can put a swing on it and quantize it. I can also come over here, right click and come down to force legato right here, trim note into following notes. It's going to take these notes and put them to the very end of the next note. And then I can come over here and I can work on the velocity. Just click the velocity right there, go up. If your velocity is not selected, you click on this guy, that pulls up your velocity. Now all the notes are going to sound like the same strength, and it's also going to be quantized, etc. So let's listen to it again. Now it sounds pretty dope. As you can hear though, there's a little click that you hear right before each note is played again. We can easily fix that just by clicking on the quick sampler. We can just come over here and zoom in, scroll over. Again, how you zoom in is hold down Option and you either on your trackpad or your mouse scroll left or right. And I can just move this in like so. And if you come up here to this guy, you can take it like that. And it's going to give just a slight little fade. You don't want to do too much of a fade, especially because it's beginning. And you just listen to it now. You feel me? Now it sounds smoother. And again, you can come over here and you can do certain things, right? I can, pitch it. I can add a filter to it. So like, say I can do this cutoff and bring that down. I can come over here to the pitch. I can put a glide on it. I can turn this up some, do this some. and basically kind of gives us like a warped feel. Now you could do this also with different plugins as well. You don't have to necessarily do that. This is what's the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is pretty cool. You can actually come over here to this sample now, and I can add different effects to it. So I can come over here and we can, let's say, use this remix effect on it, right? So what this remix effect is going to do is give it like a DJ vibe, as if I'm a DJ here and I'm chopping this sample up. And so what you could do is actually come over here where it says read. This is basically your automation, and you can turn that to latch. And once that's selected, whatever you do to this track, whether to turn up the volume, pan it left or right, or even control like one of your plugins that you have listed on this channel, it's going to record that. So I'm going to actually play around with this sample using remix effect, and I'm going to show you something else we could do when it comes to sampling in Logic Pro 10. All right, cool. Now let's say if you're like, man, you know what, that sounds dope, but I kind of messed up on doing that remix effect. It's not as smooth. All you got to do is push the letter A, and all of your automation is going to pull right up. And just to check on the automation here, first things first, you're going to go ahead and go to latch mode and turn it to read mode. And with read mode, basically what that's going to do is you can basically just listen to what you just did without affecting anything. So remember, latch mode, if you have it on, no matter what you do, whether turn up the volume or down the volume or whatever, it's going to record that. So it's always good after you finish using latch mode to turn it back off, turn it to read mode. But anyway, let's go ahead and click on volume. And then if you go right here where it says use, that's going to be all of the different things that you affected using automation. So like the tape stop effect, we just push on or off right here, and I can come in and hold down option to zoom, and I can like make sure that it's right on point with like the timeline. So like for instance, say I might want to have it come over here. So we just move this guy right here to there, and I can move this right here. So now it's a clean effect. So let's listen to it. I actually kind of liked it like this before. We can just listen to it like that too. You can bring it right here. Same thing with this one. You can come over here and affect it. As you can see, it's just a little bit before this line where it should be. And so I can move this back over. Okay, I don't know why it just messed up like that. Let me see here. Oh man, that kind of messed up. I don't know why I did that. Dang it. Yeah, sometimes it will do stuff like that. All right, but you get the point here. I can come over here to other parts of this, like say with that gator effect that I used, which is right there, and then I could, move this around as well. All right, so there you go. We just pretty much cleaned everything up. And the cool thing now is that if I wanted to, I can continue sampling and resampling if I wanted to, right? So I can just go ahead and I'm gonna click off of the scissors right here, and I could just take this and drag this back over here to this gray area and put it back into the sampler and resample this. So I'm gonna go ahead and push this on original. We'll mute this part out, and now I have that sample all over again here. And so in classic mode, I could just play this, make sure it's 4. We can put this on tempo, lock here, and I can play it in different octaves or wherever on the keyboard. So this is a lot of cool stuff you could do with this. I'm actually going to take this like that, fade that out, and we'll just record this real quick. Put this metronome back on. And pretty much that's some basics when it comes to sampling and hacks that you could do within Logic Pro 10 when it comes to sampling. So that's going to actually be today's video. I really appreciate y'all watching. Stay tuned for the next video as well. We're going to be continuing to do cool things like this. I'm doing some hacks. I'm going to probably do some like drum sequencing hacks, different things like that in the next video. Also, make sure that you visit my site, beatmakingbasics.com. I do have courses, full video courses that break down different topics like this in an organized and structured way on my website, beatmakingbasics.com. Also, the links will be in the description below. I also have a melody pack that you can grab as well. I might incorporate that melody pack into one of the other videos after I finish this series on hacks and everything like that. But I really appreciate y'all being in, subscribe to the channel and everything like that. It means a lot. I'm glad to help you all on your journey as well as, as producers. It's definitely needed. So anyway, man, again, make sure you give me a thumbs up on the video. It does help out the channel. Also leave comments. It helps out the channel a lot. Goes a long way. You know what I mean? Even if you don't buy a course, throw a like button up there. You know what I'm saying? That's going to help me out here to continue to do this on a major level, man. We want to get this channel to as many people as possible. Also, if you're brand new, please go ahead and subscribe. Without further ado, though, we're going to go ahead and jump off and end this video. Thanks so much for watching.